Discipline is said to be the one key element for a successful life, but that might only be half true. Today, I'm going to delve into the art of discipline, the real art of discipline, and how you can learn to use it in a smart way and find happiness in using it, so you can have a better perception compared to what society portrays. I'll also talk about the dangers of it, how it can be abused if not done correctly. This will show you why you need purpose before you can have discipline. So the way I've defined discipline is a trait of self-respect and responsibility where you act in alignment to your values, even when it's difficult. You need to adopt discipline like a philosophy, almost like something that is necessary to live by. The first step is having the mindset that the only thing that is going to stop you is if it's something outside of your control, and that you would do everything in your power to get it done. You need to really want whatever goal you've set yourself for discipline to work. Otherwise, you have no reason to be disciplined. This thought process allows you so much more freedom, maybe more than you realise, as you won't need to delete apps off your phone to prevent you from doom scrolling. You'll soon find a greater desire to be a better person and do more meaningful things, as that is what discipline allows. Think of it like this: if there was one thing you always wanted to do, what would stop you? If it's anything you can control, anything you can prevent or do, and you still refuse to do it, that's where the problem lies. It may even show you don't want the thing that badly. Because all discipline is wanting the thing more than you don't want it, so you'll do anything to get there. And if you discover that this thing you've been striving for isn't actually going to fulfill you, then that's even better. There's no point being disciplined for something which will never serve you. An issue with the control element is that people tend to not recognise how much control they actually have. If you're doing a race and your chest hurts from running, it is still within your control to carry on, whereas if you break a bone, that is out of your control. Also, don't let yourself have too many excuses, as that is what gives you more of an excuse to not do the thing. This is where going on your phone becomes more compelling than reading a book. I mean, why would you want to read? Why would you read? If everything in the world is trying to stop you from doing it, then it becomes next to impossible to attempt. This is why you need a distinction between having control and not. Obviously, taking this into consideration, you need to be cautious of unhealthy obsessions that may occur. And I've touched on this in the last couple of episodes. But the difference is, discipline turns into something positive. And talking to yourself positively will always deliver better results than a negative mindset, as you'll actually believe you can do it, rather than pretending you can. You need to say to yourself, you can do this. And that might seem a bit simple and futile at the time, but continuous messages like that works a lot better than telling yourself that you can't do something or that you're not good enough for a certain thing. Another thing that tends to happen is that after a while of doing these things through discipline, you tend to feel worse when not doing it, as you know now that it's actually something you want to do and maybe even need to do. But like I said before, that can become a danger if it's not handled correctly. But I'll touch on the dangers later on in the episode. Sometimes it may need to be turned into a routine to feel more normalised, rather than another difficult thing to adopt. For example, I have never missed a day of doing a 5-minute cold shower since April 2023, and it's now normal for me despite it being difficult. And sometimes doing difficult tasks like that, even if it's small, allows you to eventually do the hard tasks that you actually want to do, like running a marathon. It's where the famous quote comes from: if you want to change the world, make your bed. You do little things like that so you can achieve your actual goals. And everything is about consistency to do that thing. Not about how hard you push or how many rewards you get. It's about turning up even if you do practically nothing. You trick your mind into doing the thing without any second thought. Discipline allows you to have freedom over your life rather than trapping it. You need to be able to show up even when the world goes quiet. See the cheering as more of a luxury rather than anything else. Because if you let people determine whether you want to do something, it'll never really come from you. And eventually, when you don't have anyone around, you won't be able to do that thing. And you'll realise when it's too late that you never actually wanted to do it. So, normally the best type of discipline is getting something good out of it, not just meaningless trudging through mud. Otherwise, why would there be a need to run a half marathon if you get more happiness from watching TV? And the way to normally do this is set yourself a goal, which has no weight to it, no meaning, just a task to do. It can have meaning, but something you know is achievable. For example, I did a 10-mile run, which may seem like a lot if you aren't into fitness, but I had already built myself up to it. And this was proof of how good I was after I did that 10-mile run, even how much I actually wanted to run. Because beforehand, I never wanted to get up and run. I just hated it, hated the thought of it. And then when I told myself at the end of it that if I complete this now, I'm completely unstoppable, that feeling that I got at the end beat any type of comfort I got from TV. Discipline doesn't need to be something negative which makes you miserable. You need to break that expectation, because you get into this cycle of being miserable because you didn't do the thing and then being miserable because you are doing it. It's the expectations of discipline which destroy your self-esteem, which comes from society. And it's not actually the act of doing the discipline which causes you to have low self-esteem, it's the expectations of it. You need to think of it more like a growth aspect, something which makes your life better, because in the long run, it does, even if it doesn't appear so at the time. It's a way of having self-respect as well. I mean, look at the alternative. You end up doing nothing in your life which is meaningful because you were chasing short-term gratification, and that would be a much worse regret. Now I'm going to talk about what people tend to do and what mistakes they make. And the worst type of discipline, like I've said before, is doing it for other people. You won't be able to rely on yourself, and you won't ever be able to trust your own ability. This is the idea that you do something solely just to beat someone. Because if you don't beat them, then you have nothing left to fight for. You're not fighting for yourself, you're just fighting to get better than someone else. And I know that can work in a competitive scenery, like boxing or stuff like that. But even they are told that this is for you. They know it's for them. It's not just about the opponent, necessarily. And most people who aren't disciplined are insecure about themselves. They're insecure that they aren't good enough, or that if they tried, it would just be a futile effort. You may not know this, but some people simply desire short-term gratification over discipline. But they've been convinced by society that they should be miserable because of this truth, which is probably one of the hardest things to admit. But this is only a small minority of people. Most people do want to be disciplined, and they want a meaningful life. Another thing is, most people don't realise how disciplined they are already, so feel defeated if they want to do something which seems more difficult. For example, a parent is extremely disciplined, but they may just see it as a normal way of life. So when they want to do a marathon but can't get the training done, their self-esteem plunders, and they ignore everything else they have done in life. I just want to go back for a second about the people in competitive sports like boxing and stuff. You may say that people do generally just rely on defeating their opponent and then getting that reward at the end, and that's how their discipline is brought about. But then we don't talk about the fact that they have to train a lot more than when they are actually doing the competition. They are training 7 days a week, and there's no one there telling them, unless they have a coach. But even then, it's still themselves having to push through whatever pain they're going through. No matter what, they have to do it by themselves. Now I'm going to talk about the dangers of discipline and the ways you can combat it and use discipline as a tool rather than letting it control your entire life. So one point is that don't let it control you. You have to be in control the entire time. Otherwise, your discipline may be put into things which you don't want to do, as I previously said. And if you can find a way to make it more fun, do it. Because pushing through misery will decrease your want for whatever goal you have set yourself. If your energy runs out, no amount of wanting to do it will get you to there. Because you'll never actually have wanted to do that thing. And I want to make this so clear. It's about wanting to do that thing. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to promote people to be more lazy, because it's not about that. Because if you really do want something, you will be able to do it, and you'll be able to use discipline for it. Another issue that may arise is perfectionism, as that can start to take control, where the discipline no longer serves you. And this was me. I was constantly doing things over and over in hope to just be disciplined. That was my goal. I had no want to do anything. It was literally just to be disciplined. No real purpose. It got so bad that I know if I had broke my leg during a race, it wouldn't matter. As long as I knew I was disciplined. That's what cost me. That thought process. It really kind of ruined my self-esteem, because I thought to myself, if I'm not pushing all the time 110%, then I'm doing something wrong. So don't make the same mistake I did. Ensure you are in control the entire time and you don't let perfectionism take over. You need to channel your energy into something. Maybe you have a lot of insecurity about yourself. Maybe you feel like it's all too much. Maybe you feel lost, sad, scared, even depressed. Well, use it. It gives you more power than you realise. And I don't mean say bad things to yourself as a way of punishment for the situation you're in. I mean, everything you feel, say, good, I feel that. Because it means you care and you want that goal. And you'll know that despite all those things that you feel, you'll still be able to carry on. Not because someone told you to, or because of an external reward, or because you're aiming for this perfect goal. It's because of you and your energy and what you can do with it. If you take anything from this podcast, take this simple thing. Only be disciplined for something you want to do, otherwise it will begin to control you. And just think to yourself right now, what is something you truly value in life? And what would you do to get there? And what will you use discipline for? Because discipline is a tool to get you where you want, not an end goal for yourself. It should serve your values. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I think it's the longest one that I've done. And tune in next week, where I will explain to you why you must have your philosophy grounded before deciding your moral belief system.